The gathering focused on reviewing and evaluating findings on electoral reportage and the European Union's support for democratic governance in Nigeria project, which aims to achieve fair, accurate and ethical coverage of electoral processes.
The support to the media component essentially is to help build the capacity of the media to enable it provide what we call a fair, accurate and ethical coverage of the electoral process.
All we've been trying to encourage them to do is that let's leave owners alone. As far as ethics is concerned, it's about your conscience. Do your own stories professionally. Where there's an allegation, ensure that there's a response to that allegation, so that at the end of the day, our reports are credible. And then, if our reports are credible, then the election itself, the electoral process itself will become more credible, because the credibility of elections partly rests on the credibility of the information that we pass on to the citizens.
During the review, journalists representing various media organizations were intimated with the strengths and weaknesses of media operations and what can be done to ensure balance and objectivity in news coverage.
When journalists present news that are unbalanced, in other words, this news takes care of the views of one of the parties of an event, whereas there are at least two parties to that event. When a report does that, you are essentially creating room for conflict, and conflict, if not properly handled, usually becomes crisis. And working towards balanced report may mean that I need to delay this report even for an hour. Instead of it going on 4 o'clock news bulletin, I may need to delay it until 7, so that I can hear from party B as well. I've heard what party A says, and it implicates party B a little bit. It's good to give them also fair hearing.
Balance enhances the credibility of any news medium. Balance enhances the trust that the public will have in any news medium. Ultimately, the whole goal is to ensure that as much as is possible, we are very, very professional, we are very, very ethical in our coverage of the campaigns and the entire electoral process.
This roundtable meeting is expected to equip media practitioners with the needed education that promotes professionalism in the coverage of electoral events. Lekan Onabanjo, LTV News.